Lars von Trier. Well, yeah. It's been 3.5 days, and the Kal Kat thing, right here, the Transformer thing, and what I was doing was typing up the storybook version of Space Bridge to see Space Bridge from 2 years ago, 3 years ago now, late 2015, early 2016. Yeah, 2016, 2 years ago. Was early 2016, so it's now 2018. Yeah, so it has some interesting issues that were relevant at the time. Now with Robotech: The Endless Circle, Mark's Cards and I, and then the other Kent Cowpoke and them, were able to go back and make a 65-minute episode into a 90-minute episode. And that allowed us to fix about 15 to 20 minutes of information that was little plot holes here and there. With this one, you really can't fix it. Fixing it would detract from how it's put together as a story. It was originally done as a live story, so it wasn't meant to have a script. And it shows, regretfully. There's some of this is just odd. It is written like I was 16 when I wrote it, even though I wasn't. It was written like an original Storm of Robots Alacom story from back in the day, and that's how it plays. And that's both good and not so good. But I realized what I was doing, even though, it was 2 years ago, and clearly now it's 30 years after those, those other stories. It's a fun Transformers homage. It could be polished, but should it be polished? I mean, you have Space Bridge, and then we're going to have other stories from Space Bridge from the mush, the other things that have nothing to do with it, and we're not going to really worry too much about script redos things. I think if you want to, in the next couple days, make a polished version of the raw story, you could, in essence, go back to the video, maybe the uncredited video, back before it was the second printing, and you could take stuff that was a little off in it and polish that. You could take, if you just trimmed, I'm not saying you have to change the lengths or add anything to it, but if you just trimmed some stuff and added a little bit of stuff, not dialogue. You got plenty of dialogue, but if there's a few gonks here and there that make the story a little bit incomprehensible in the first 20 minutes, and a little bit incomprehensible in the last, maybe I would say 40 minutes. There's two 45-minute episodes, and the first part of each 45-minute segment has some issues. The second part of each 45-minute segment is fine. So it's like, okay, the first part of this was probably on the fly. And we're probably just putting things together and going, no, this goes together. And there's a little bit of confusion. I noticed you added stuff where they had characters going time warp or whatever and saying, oh, we're teleporting here and there. That's fine in the second half of the first story, which is part 1B, part 1A, B. That's fine because they explain what they're doing. But in the first part of the act, when they're doing it, it's a little confusing. You could go back and trim out some stuff that didn't work, and or just here and there snip some stuff and make a sort of a director's cut, final cut thing. And the Purr Beast is right here. Yes, he is. He's a Purr Beast. Oh, he's so cute. He's the Purr Beast. He's on the set. Oh, look at the kitty. So Houdini kitty. The Purr Beast. Yes. Well, I've gone over the script of the movie from 2 years ago. And I have decided that we do not need to, we really can't add anything to it. It would look weird if we threw in like stock footage from battles happening or other Transformer stories happening. It would be really, really strange if we did that. It wouldn't work. So I'm going to throw in what I am going to add, though, what I can add, because it's got to match the material, is the shifting of the bioship biomass in the ship. And you could use this footage throughout the movie. It's only a few seconds of each to indicate the passage of whatever robot is doing something different. Very similar to how they did Transformers Generation 2, and they sort of put that computer effects over the existing footage because they thought it looked cool, but it really didn't. In this case, we're doing it on purpose. In this case, we're actually showing walls and floors shifting. In this case, we're doing artsy shit to our movie. Artsy stuff, and yeah, to add to make it look less like the fourth wall is broken and less like there are plot holes where Decepticons aren't where they're supposed to be or Autobots aren't where they're supposed to be. If they put a shift in there, it makes it look like an intent was to do that, and that they're teleporting. We don't need to show it shot any new video footage. That's good, but a few seconds here and there of something shifting and moving, yes, that's a good idea. Might actually visually help the story. Also, jumbling sets and stuff could be construed as the destruction going on. So yeah, there are at least 5 or 6 scenes like that. They're all kind of the same, so I'm just going to shoot some extended footage of Transformer Space Bridge, and intersperse it throughout the live 2 movies that were shot, or the 2 movies that we shot back in the day, to add these visual effects, essentially finishing the movie. Okay, here's the script. Let's see. The script is actually going to be sitting on the set. There's a part about the city and Spike and the G.I. Joes discovering the location of the other hunter. We can't reshoot any dialogue, so all I'm going to do with that is a transition wave of something going on, just to convey a transition there. That would be from page 2. It's scene 1, since there's 4 scenes. Each part is a scene. Page 2, scene 1. Just before they meet Rick Hunter, we're going to get a shifting something or other to indicate that they're not in Simultech, they're somewhere near it, but not in. So I'm going to cut to a shot of something moving. Something to indicate a transition. And here is a little spot here. It could be a good transition. Action. Page 7. Can you get a clip of the activation of the space bridge? Well, no, we can't do that. But what we can do is click on a light or something to indicate some kind of action is happening. So we don't really have... Yeah, I can just click on something. How about that? I'll just put a stationary object in the background and in the foreground, and I will just cheat. And pretend like something really important. Page 9, recharge complete machine. We can't show that, but we can show a sort of glowy thingy, I guess, over here. Like something with the wall, I guess. Near a gray wall. And now we can just show the light going off. How about that? Action. Appearance of the snake-like vessel. Can't really show the snake-like vessel, but what I can do is I can film the edge of this weird-looking thing and make it look sort of like it's part of the bioship. Action. Here's what I'm going to do. This is a shifting wall scene. This is going to be on page 12 of the script, Act 1. Shifting wall indicating Megatron, the other Megatron's appearance. Action. 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 Okay, there's a thing about Ultra Magnus entering the scene, but we're not reshooting any dialogue. Not doing that. So, can we convey some passage of sliding time? Okay, now we are in episode 2. And the sliding passage of time, extension timeline, corridor near the engine room. Alright, let's use some of these other effects over here. So this is an effects wall over here on the right. And we have left, right, and we have a large scale sort of a transformer set built for weird shit folding around. So, action, we are going to show, actually these are quite large. We're going to show something going on, something scary is going on. So, wait a minute, I can move it this way. So, scene 2, use that shifting stuff for both these shifts. So let's go on to the next one. Shift takes them away. We can't show that, but we can show stuff moving it again on a surface. And let's convey a sort of moving, shifting doorway thing going on. A weird, like Escher-esque sort of weird. Okay, something about the Generations Rick Hunter and the other guy entering the bioship and being seen for the first time in a while. Yeah. Let's convey another shifting, like, paradox kind of thing, but not in the same place. So it wouldn't be anyway, but yeah. So we're gonna, like, twist the camera to the right, show some camera angles. So we're gonna go like this. Page 20, Act 2. We have scenes with shifting walls involving Prime and the others. We can't show the Transformers, they're not in the shot, but we can show the walls moving around. So again, we have to use the walls and have them do something. So we really kind of have to do things that are unusual. So action on the wall. So mainly what I was doing is the first couple sections. I wasn't really gonna get too serious with anything from the other acts because you can't really reshoot those. I don't really want to reshoot them. Just clean it up a little bit on the other acts and make it work. It's not too bad. So clean it up and it'll be fine. So there you go. This is Kal Kat to Kal Katster. Yes, and I have made a behind the scenes thingy, little thing on. I've gone back and messed with the first episode of Space Bridge, the first part story that's 45 minutes or roughly. So it's the two 45-minute ones, and actually the version that I did the book version for was, and then put online, I didn't check the dates on that one, and it was actually a rough cut. So a lot of the errors that were seen on it were fixed in the final print of the 2 episodes as they aired on the YouTube channel. So those are the finished video, and the 90-minute thing that was put up on the channel is a rough cut, basically, with some of the titles mixed around and some of the gonks not taken out. The second episode had some gonks, but they're there and they're still part of it. It still makes sense. The second 45 minutes. The first part had a few that were confusing, so I went back and there were mainly transition problems. That's usually the case with these Transformers movies. And so I went back and added 6 transitions where they needed to be concerning the movement of the spaceship, space vessel thing that's a spaceship. Whereas, because it was filmed as a stage play thing really quickly in like 7 days, I didn't realize at times when the good guy and the bad guys were on the same set in the same shot. So I had to. So what I did is I took I went by and trimmed where the bad guy shows up in the shot, so that he's not there in the scene unless he's being talked to. And the Autobots go, like, at one point Optimus Prime goes, "Where did Megatron go?" And he was just there. So there's got to be like that, for instance. So I had a wall. I threw in a wall shifting, like she closes it, takes Megatron away, presumably, and he can't find him. So then Megatron comments on it. Well, now you get to see what that scene should have been. There should have been a wall closing behind him because I didn't film it. I didn't want to add any new dialogue. I didn't want to go back and redo the fight scene. What's the point? It's a fan film. It's fine. It's trans tech. It's very reminiscent of the stuff I did when I was a teenager. It's a throwback to that, and it's a sequel to the Trans Tech Saga and the Robotech Endless Circle. And next will be more stories, not based on necessarily Kal Kat stories, but on other TF Alt toys.com and mush sites that we'll see how well that works. Some of them are going to be bad, but yes. You can tell from the story, though, with a double-spaced page typed up all the text at 52 pages double-typed text is roughly, 50 pages times Roman is roughly 90 minutes. So that's what that is. If there's no transitions, or very few transitions. It's just, as a Transformers fan film, it's pretty decent. It could have been better, but it was filmed very quickly. The Robotech one is a little better than this one. So there's other stuff. Also, all those sets that you saw in the background were for these uptakes shots. They were not for Optera, as it was hinted at another thing on there. It's not that at all. It was just this. We probably are not gonna do a flashback to the 2030s unless it's like a dream. Why? I don't know. We're probably not doing that. We'll see. We'll see. Anyway, so that's my update. Yeah.